Good afternoon. It just turned 12:01. So good afternoon, everyone. In spending time with the Lord this morning, I feel like he gave me a word that I need to share with everyone. And I put it off a little bit because I was like, well, you know how like when you're in that time with the Lord and typically he's speaking to you specifically, and then when you get done, well, at least for me, when I get done writing and I look back and I really feel impressed from the Lord that this is a corporate word, I'm like, okay, because I know how weighty that is when he's speaking to me, and it's like a me thing. It doesn't make it less weighty. It's just when we become the mouthpiece for the Lord, that should have some weight to it. And so when I bring these words to you guys, I don't take it lightly, and it is very like I really am like searching my heart and making sure before I put the word out that this is actually something that he's wanting to basically share with the class, is the way that I put it. And so today is another day of one of those words where I will tell you, this is part of things where I was like, well, that's interesting. So I have two journals, and one of them is a thankfulness journal, and that's all that's in it is just thankfulness. And then the other one is my journal that like I asked the Lord, what do you want to say to me today? And so I have those. They're two separate, like completely separate journals. There's no prayer requests in the one. There's no like in my thankfulness journal, there's nothing like that. And then the other one, it's strictly like, this is the Lord speaking to me. And this morning when I went to go write in them, I realized that the last time I wrote in them, and I didn't realize I did it, I switched them. And I wrote my thankfulness. I don't know how or why I did that, but it just happened. And then the Lord was like, don't change back. And I was like, okay. So then he had me write this word. He sat down, and this is the word that he gave me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you have to realize that sometimes things that look like they're accidents or things that we're doing not on, like they just happen coincidentally. I just want you to understand that a lot of times is the Lord speaking to us through our own, what look like mistakes or, things like that. Cause to me, I'm like, because the Lord is weeding out perfectionism in me. I was like, oh no, there's the wrong thing in this. Oh, I don't like that. And the Lord used it, obviously, because you'll understand once I start speaking what he said, that I'm like, oh, that was like literally a visual representation of what he is sharing with us. And so, in the Hebrew language, there is no word for, oh, now of course I'm going to forget the word. There is no word for something that means like accident. That's not the right word, but basically there is no word that they coincidence. There is no word for them in their language, in Hebrew language, that means coincidence, because they don't believe in coincidence. And so I think I learned that a couple years ago, and ever since then, I feel like I kind of live that way too, where even when there's an accident that happens or something, it's like, yeah, but it wasn't a coincidence. We need to really see what the purpose of it was and things like that. So anyway, this looked like an accident on my part that I switched these books, but then again, I'm getting ready to read this word to you and you will understand, oh, that's why she's saying all of that. So let me get this set up here. Give me 2 seconds here, because I want to have it like right in front of me when I read. And like, I haven't gotten ready for the day yet fully, because I woke up late and was getting ready and all that stuff. And so I really felt it pressing before I even get ready for my day to get on here and do this. So this is what he said this morning. He said, there has been a shift. Do you feel it? Can you see it? It's all strategic and it all has meaning. I'm going to continue to make you uncomfortable with the norms, of life, because I have called you to be my PI, which personal investigator is what that stands for, in the faith. You need to seek a thing out to find its beginnings. Seek and you shall find. It is important to learn what to speak death over, because that has purpose as much as speaking life does. And that's referring to Proverbs 28:19, that 28:19, that talks about the power of life and death in the tongue. I have called you to be resurrected in Christ, but die to yourself. You must live in him to die to self. There is no other way. What does that look like? How do you live in and through Christ? The answer lies within him, within the very one who put on flesh, not as a costume, but as a life lived fully. It is time to take off the dress-up clothes of Christianity and begin to live in Christ and let his light shine from inside of you. Too many are still in their burial clothes or masks of happy facades. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Rise up, O Zion. Cry out. Roar again. Yeah. So that is the word that he gave me to share with all of you today. And now do you understand why my books have now shifted? And honestly, he's like, don't go back. And I'm just like, okay, Lord, okay, I hear you. The shift has taken place, and it's either we decide that we're going to shift with it, or it's an against the grain thing. And I don't want to, because when I give these words, I don't like to give my interpretation of what I feel like the Lord is saying. I feel like they speak for themselves. And so I am going to leave you with that. And the shift has taken place. What are we going to do with it? So think about that as you go through your day today, and